Welcome to the Sex and Astrology podcast. I'm Brandy Joy, your host. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about your astrology horoscope for 2024. This horoscope is for Taurus. So whether you have Taurus rising, Taurus sun, or Taurus moon, this horoscope is for you. And just so you know, the rising sign is the most accurate. The other ones will definitely have some accuracy as well. But if you are a Taurus rising, it will be even most accurate. Okay, so let's talk about Taurus in your year. So for our Taurus risings and Taurus sun, of course, and Taurus moon, you're going to be affected in your 10th house, which is your career and your reputation over the next 20 years. Because January 20th of 2024, we have Pluto going into Aquarius. And Pluto going into Aquarius means that Pluto will be in your 10th house of career and social reputation. So you're going to be going through a lot of transformations over the next 20 years in terms of getting maybe on your right path with your career, or maybe going through just changes and transformations. So when Pluto goes through one of your houses, it transforms that house. It makes you really, really develop yourself in that house. So if you have felt like things have not been quite right for you in that area, it will definitely change. I remember when Pluto entered my first house, which affects your whole life and your career and stuff. I got a job at a university, which was totally different than what I had been doing before that. So, it changes your career. It can give you a lot of transformations. It can also just be like new chapters in your life in that area, or new ways of doing things or looking at things in that area of your life. So over the next 20 years, you can really just expect a lot of changes in your house of social reputation and career. All right. You're still wrapping up your ninth house stuff. So that will still be a little bit going on this year. Has to do with like your belief systems, higher education, travel, right? So those things might also still be in play for you this year, but primarily you'll be focusing on your career and your social reputation. So if you don't have a career, right, that could change, or it could be that your social reputation changes, or you just start kind of thinking about projects that might put you out there into the spotlight or something like that, possibly. It can also affect your fourth house as well, which is your home life and your family life. And also your emotions, right? So the fourth house is going to be affected by Pluto going through your 10th house as well, because it's across from it. So just so you know, that will be, two factors that you notice over the next 20 years that are going to be very highlighted for you. And then we have Saturn is in Pisces all year, and Saturn is in your 11th house in Pisces all year. So Saturn slows things down. Saturn will put the brakes on things for you. So in terms of, it started in March of 2023, and it goes on until May of 2025. So this has already been going on for a little while for you, and it will be going on, for another year for you. But your 11th house is your house of friendships and groups. And so when Saturn slows things down in an area for you, right, it's going to kind of make you work on that area, or restructure that area, or rethink that area in a way. It will kind of put the brakes down on you and say, all right, what do you need to change here? What are some things that you may need to develop in this area of your life? So it will slow down. If you have a big social life, it might slow it down a bit. If you don't, it could be something where you start kind of rethinking who your groups are, who's your tribe, who's the kind of people that you want to hang out with, right? So Saturn can also bring a lot of karmic people into your life when it goes through a house, especially in a friendship house, group house. So it might bring new opportunities of different types of groups to you. Now, it won't be like, oh yeah, all these groups and people. It will be more like, kind of creating a stillness and then finding the right group of people. Okay. The eclipses this year, we have 2 eclipse seasons every year, and the eclipses, they happen in twos. So you have a couple of eclipses coming up here in March and April, And then you have a couple of eclipses happening in the fall in September, October. And so this eclipse season, this is affecting your 6th and 12th house, and also the 11th with friendships. So let's talk about that. So this past October of 2023, you had an eclipse in your 6th house, right? And so you had a lot of new beginnings, maybe, or a new chapter starting in terms of your 6th house, which has to do with your work. It has to do with your daily habits, your health, how you're taking care of yourself, and also if you're in a path of service to others, it can be that as well. Mentorships, um, things like that, skill development as well. Right. So this eclipse energy is really affecting that house and also your 12th house of spirit. Your 12th house of spirit is, it's like an area of your life that has to do with like secrets, has to do with secret enemies. It has to do with spirituality, your connection. If you especially are a psychic or an intuitive or somebody that is working with their high self or entities on the other side or something, that house would be highly affected for you. So you'd go through a lot of transformations during this time with the 6 and 12 that you have going on. So again, if you're a Taurus rising, you have coming up in March, on March 25th, 2024, we have Libra at 5 degrees in your 6th house, which means that there's going to be probably, this will be a full moon lunar eclipse. So this will be a culmination from October. So whatever happened in October, go back to October and think about it. What happened in October to you? Whatever happened then is likely going to be, especially October 14th, and for those next couple weeks, whatever was happening right then, if it was like a new chapter for you, something new happening or something, very affecting you, that will be culminating in March because the full moon eclipse will be hitting that same house for you. It will be like affecting you in a different way, but the same kind of energy, right? So if something happened in October, it'll be like a different chapter, a new chapter in terms of that kind of energy coming up in March. And then, and again, it can be health, it can be work-related, service to others path, and also discernment. It's a house of discernment. So knowing what's good and bad for you, what's right and wrong for you, who's good and bad for you, who's right and wrong for you. It can have to do with your mentors or you mentoring other people. So yeah, any of those kind of things, if they came up for you in October, you'll definitely see them again in March, those kinds of issues. Okay. And then April 8th, we have Aries. We have an Aries eclipse happening in your 12th house. And this will be a new moon eclipse, new moon solar eclipse in your 12th house. And so this will kind of bring new opportunities, new beginnings in your 12th house. So it could be that hopefully it'll be a good thing, right? But it can bring crisis, especially in the 12th house. Hopefully it won't be crisis. Hopefully this will be good things for you, like new beginnings. Maybe you'll start doing another form of meditation work or, something spiritual. So bring something spiritual in this year. Really important for you if you're a Taurus rising, because your 12th house is the spiritual house. It's also the house of mental illness, prisons and hospitals and stuff. So I always say really, really focus on spirit during that time. And the more you meditate and the more you focus on your spiritual awakening and spiritual development, that will actually have a good effect on you, even though you might be going through something in those areas. So just be aware of that. If you're trying to get rid of any escapist type of things, maybe addictions and stuff like that, you definitely want to focus on that during this time because eclipses can bring crisis. And those things can come up in the 12th house, just to be aware of. And then on September 17th, coming up in 2024, you will have an 11th house eclipse. So the 11th house eclipse has to do with your friendships and your groups. So this can provide a lot of transformation, a lot of changes in terms of your groups and your friendships, and maybe You're realizing that some people need to go, some groups need to change, some of your groups need to go. So this can be, it's a full moon eclipse. So it can be kind of clearing that area, your 11th house, and maybe even, coming up with some new long-term goals and dreams and things that you want to do with your life. In the 11th house, when that eclipse happens, it'll kind of just illuminate that area for you. And be aware of any gossip or any news that comes to you during eclipses, because eclipses are a time of illumination. And so things will kind of go, oh, wow, didn't know that. Now I know that. Oh, crap. Right. So spirit will kind of put things out there for you, especially if you ask for it. If you say, hey, I want to know, or I want to know if I should change this, that will come to light for you during eclipses. So September 17th will be really important for you, September. And then also October 2nd. October 2nd, we have another Libra eclipse, Libra 4-degree eclipse, new moon, solar eclipse, new beginnings for you in the 6th house again. 6th house again is health, service, mentorships, habits, daily habits, like do you take care of yourself, has a lot to do with stress and wellness. So you can start a lot of new beginnings in that area. And hopefully, you don't end up with any health crisis or things like that. Can come up with 6th house issues, but if you're taking good care of yourself, you should be okay. You just have to be very careful with your stress. That's all. Because 6th house has a lot to do with stress, a lot to do with like too much thinking about things. You got to be careful with that, be aware of that, and kind of step it back and detox, clear yourself, clear your mind. So really important to meditate during this time for you. And then before I get into the positive aspects for you and give you all the good stuff, I do want to mention you have Mars retrograde happening at the end of the year from December 6th till February 23rd of this end of the year. So that'll be coming at the end of 2024 and into 2025. Mars retrograde in Cancer and Leo. So this will be in your 4th house and your 3rd house. All right. So the 4th house has to do with, it'll be retrograding in your 4th house first and back into your 3rd house and then coming back. So the 4th house is associated with your family, your home life, and everything. So Mars retrograding in this house may bring up issues related to how you assert yourself in your family. It can make you feel very agitated easily. You might have a little bit more outburst at people. You have to be aware of that, be careful of that in your home environment or with your family environment. It can make you come off a little bit more aggressive, assertive, even agitated, right? You can get agitated easily with Mars retrograde, and wherever it is in your chart is where it's going to influence your life the most. It might agitate you more there. So the balance between your family responsibilities and how you're feeling is going to be a key here, and really be careful with, fighting or, arguing with people. When you have this happening, you want to kind of step it back a little bit and think, okay, do I really want to say this? Don't just let it come out, because if you do start something, then it's likely to keep going on for a while, longer than you think, because Mars retrograde will be happening from December 6th till February 23rd. So that means it's like this, the Mars retrograde is kind of an irritation. It'll be going on for a while. And then you have it going into your 3rd house, Mars retrograding to your 3rd house, which is to do with your communication, also your car, your vehicles, around town, your neighbors. So just be careful not to fight with neighbors and don't get road rage, right? So you just want to be careful and realize that, hey, Mars is retrograding and it's hitting my area of like my neighborhood. It's hitting me in my family life. So just kind of step it back and try to meditate a lot, especially since the eclipses and stuff, 6 and 12. I mean, you're a Taurus rising. You want to be meditating a lot this year. You're going to need it. Anyways, positive aspects for you. Let's give you some positive aspects. All right. So from August 28th of 2023, right, until January 27th this month, 2024, we have had a Uranus retrograde. Okay. Uranus has been going through Taurus for years now. It goes through a sign it takes about 7 years. And it's been in Taurus for quite a few years, like 4 or 5 years at this point, I think. Now, Uranus is in Taurus, right? This is your sign, your 1st house. It's to do with your personality, your life path, everything, your relationships, your career. It can hit everything, right? So Uranus is like, giving you over the past 5 years, like this, like transformative kind of energy, right? It's like crisis is happening, and it could be happening in different areas for different Taurus risings, Taurus people, right? If you're a Taurus, you're really getting affected by Uranus and this transformative energy. And if you've been feeling really stuck, right, this past year, especially the past 6 months, you're going to notice in January that finally at the end of January, it's going to turn around a bit. And you're finally going to feel a little bit like you're unstuck. You can move forward a little bit in your life and your life path, and maybe your image, your self-image, whatever it might be. Because again, this is in Taurus, so it's affecting your whole life. Okay, it'll be different for every Taurus person, because when it affects your first house, it's like it's you, it's everything. Now, also your appearance can be affected, so it could be that you want to change the way you look, or maybe you've been working on that or something, and you're finally going to move forward with that at the end of January or come February or something like that. But yeah, anyways, come April of this year, April 2024, Jupiter will be conjuncting Uranus. And this will be Jupiter conjunct Uranus April 20th and the 21st will be exact, but it will be in with what we call the orb of influence all April. Okay, so all of April 2024, you're going to have this Jupiter Uranus conjunction, and this will be unexpected developments and unexpected opportunities for you, significant shifts in various aspects of your life. So like I was saying, this is your first house, so it's pretty much everything in your life. It could be anything. But this conjunction, it will expand you. It will help you to maybe feel like you want more freedom in a certain way, or maybe you want to just do something totally different with your life all of a sudden. But the impact will be particularly felt in areas related to your self-expression, your identity, like who you are, who you want to be, and your personal values, right? Because that has a lot to do with just kind of you and your identity, who you are. And even your appearance can be another way that you might want to transform or something. So there's going to be opportunity and expansion in your whole life. There could be just different things for, like I said, this one is it's like when you're playing a game and it's like, oh, you got the card that means the wild card, right? That means anything can happen. Well, that's your game this year, is you're the wild card. You have Jupiter and conjuncting Uranus in your first house of just your life, of everything, you. Right. So hopefully this will bring you great things. Again, Jupiter is luck and opportunity. So hopefully new developments will happen for you, and new exciting things will happen for you, and you'll have a wonderful year. And again, April is when it conjuncts, and you'll notice that big influence of luck in your life, hopefully. Let me know if you have any questions. I have a free guide if you are interested in learning about love and sex and astrology. I have a free guide you can download on my website, brandyjoy.com. Other than that, I will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you follow and subscribe.